All right, so what's up? Ward Wrestling Live here, and we are here with another amazing wrestling mind in our country. We're here with LifeU assistant coach Cole Manion. He was part of two NAIA championship teams. He was a Florida State qualifier in high school down here at 5A High School, and we have him here today with us live from Omi's office. So we got him live in Omi's office, and we're here today. So what's happening, Coach Manion? What's up, buddy, man? I'm sorry it's not live. Having Zoom issues with the kids at school, but we'll get it on. We'll get it on air as soon as we get off.
Everything's going good. Like you said, I'm here in Coach Omi's office. I'm the captain today. He's out of town for the weekend, so I'm a big boss right now. I hope he sees this.
Me too. So obviously you guys just went through an off season that was a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of adjustments did you guys make through it, and how did it affect LifeU?
I mean, it's really the same adjustments that I feel like every program's had to make. You have Zoom meetings a lot and stuff like that, social distancing. It's hard to get recruits and stuff like that to come to campus when everything's shut down, and you don't want to get them sick or us or anybody like that on campus sick or anything like that. So, you kind of had to weave through and try and figure out when we can bring people, when we couldn't and stuff like that. And then just finding new ways to sell that LifeU that's not in person. And I think we did a pretty good job of doing that this summer.
That's awesome, man. So you spent time at early on at Campbellsville, then you went and wrestled up at the legendary NAIA Grandview program with up there. You were part of two national champ teams. Then you found your way over at Life. So how did you get hooked up with Omi and find your way, as he would say, to the greatest colors in wrestling?
I agree with him. I like that line. It's like we're like the Oregon Ducks of wrestling right now with all of our colors going on. But it's actually a funny story how Coach O and I met. I'd obviously knew who he was and stuff like that, going to Grandview after him and stuff. His name's on the wall or whatever. But and he was national champ there and stuff. So I knew who he was, but I'd never formally met him before. And then I graduate and we go into the summer after I graduated, and I was just working a wrestling camp, and I met up with him, and he was like, the first thing actually I had because I just graduated from Grandview, so I had a Grandview wrestling shirt on, and the first thing he said to me, "Take that off. I'm not talking to you with that on." And it was just and then we just had a playful relationship at that camp, and then it was we were just talking smack to each other and stuff. It was just just having a good time. And then it was funny. We go camp ends or whatever, and then a week later, boom, we're right at another camp together. And he's like, "What? Well, how are you all at the same camps and stuff like that?" And then we started actually more or less working with each other as we were teaching and drilling and stuff like that. And next thing you know, he starts recruiting me to come coach there, because I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. It was the summer right after I graduated. So most college wrestlers, you have that wrestling identity, but at the same time, you don't necessarily know what to do. And at first, I was going I thought I was going to go into the military and stuff like that. And then I kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And I was I don't even know if it's going to work out or anything like that. And then Coach O was just like, "Man, well, at least come here and, we can start, you can either get your master's or come coach or whatever. And at least for the first year, and we'll see, until you got to go, but I'll take care of you until then." And I mean, ever since then, he's done exactly that.
And you haven't left.
Yeah. He's been able to keep me around, I guess.
That's good, man. That's good. Hey, you're not shipping out then.
No, I love it here. It's awesome. No place I'd rather be.
Yeah, in a good area, right? That Georgia area, man, it's beautiful. You can go, down to the coast and hit Savannah. You can go up to the woods and hit Blue Ridge.
You go 30 minutes south, and you're into the city. You go 30 minutes north, you're into the country. We're right in that little sweet spot area. It's pretty. It's awesome. And it reminds me a lot of back home in Florida too, where where we get that warm weather. I was in Iowa for 2 years where it was snow and stuff. Even Kentucky, I was it snows here too? I had no idea.
I'm trying to get south.
It was crazy too, because my first year at Campbellsville, like I've lived in Florida my entire life and stuff like that, and I've seen snow like one time when I went and visited my family in Massachusetts. Other than that, I go to Campbellsville for in my first year there. They have a record snowfall year, and we had I think 20 or 22 inches in a week. And in Kentucky, they're not used to that. And this was so the whole town shut down for a week because there was no snow plows, there was no salt, nothing. So I walk outside, it's just 2 feet deep of snow, and I'd never seen anything like that. The whole town was shut down, everything was closed, you couldn't get in. The whole school was shut down, and it just snowed one night, 22 inches, and then the whole school was shut down for a week.
That was it.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome though, because it was 2 weeks before spring break, so we had a winter spring break. We went to classes for another week, and then we got an actual spring break, and I went to Florida, so it was kind of sweet.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, my wife and I about 2 years ago, one of her bucket list things was to go to the Derby. So we flew up and went to Kentucky Derby, and then but we didn't fly into Louisville, because Louisville, everybody was flying into it, right? So we flew in, I think it was an hour west, it was Lexington or something, I don't know. But I got to tell you, man, that's a beautiful state. We were driving through. I can see why they call it the bluegrass or whatever they call it, because, man, all the farms and the grass, and we were driving, what do they call it? Damn, what's the stuff they drink up there? Bourbon Trail, Bourbon Row, Bourbon something. We hit all that stuff. So, man, we had a good time. It's a beautiful state.
I got to work the Derby as a fundraiser when I was at Campbellsville. We had me and all my teammates got to be security guards at the Kentucky Derby and stuff like that. So we were right in the sweet. I was a security guard for the players or the jockey box or something like that. And they're people are showing you their tickets, and it's $5,000, $10,000 for these tickets. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just a college kid looking at this holy.
I can vouch for that, because for her 40th birthday, that's what I did, was I bought that package, and I think I'm still paying it back. No, I'm just kidding. But it was, yeah. I had to take a loan to get that shit. It was dope.
There was other people. They were coming up to us. We had a big food bar, and they're yo, so here's our ticket, and they showed me it, and it's $5,000 ticket. And they're like, there's no more food in our food bar. Can we just go in yours and get a burger? And we're not supposed to let them in, but it's this dude paid $5,000 for a ticket. I can't let him in and get a burger, because he's all out of food.
Yeah.
Who might say no to that guy?
Yeah, we were in right there. They had this area where the NFL players were talking and stuff. It was pretty dope. We had a good time, man. So you found a home here with Omi, huh?
Oh, dude, yes. It's like I said, it's something that just fell in my lap. I feel so grateful for it every day. I get to wake up and coach wrestling every day. It's the dream.
So what, you guys are obviously out recruiting. You're trying to get kids to choose Life U. Why Life U? Why do you believe it's the place for men and women to come and wrestle and get an education as well?
I think Life U.
We obviously know you have the legendary Ashley Sword and the legendary Omi Acosta, but Ashley's probably a little more legendary, but no.
She does all right for herself. She's doing pretty good over there.
Every time I talk to a women's wrestler or anybody in women's wrestling, her name is the first they bring up. They always talk about Ashley Sword. So
great.
Shout out to Ashley. Omi's talked about for other reasons.
Oh yeah, Omi. Like I said, the reason to choose Life U probably is because of Coach Omi Acosta. All the kids, once they start wrestling for him, it's that relationship that they have with the athletes and him as a coach, and I think the other coaching staff as well. Unless you can have other programs are going to be great, but you have to figure out that fit and what kind of relationship that you want with the coach. And the relationship that I see with the athletes and Coach Omi is just second to none.
That's awesome. And you hear a lot of good things about him. You see him just driving out. So cool. He tells me, I know when I'm going home, and obviously home is Homestead, right? So it's the furthest tip of Florida other than the Keys, right? So he says, I can't just drive straight home. I got to stop at every gym on the way, put on a clinic. I got to just roll with people. I just want to get in the room and teach. I just can't. I've never been able just to say I'm going home. It's taken me 3 or 4 days to get there.
That's the thing too. He's got like that funny personality too, mixed with his mixed with like the way he talks too, and like and it's just so funny. The kids love it and stuff like that, and he's a funny guy too off the mat as well, and that's what the kids like that a lot.
He's an educated gangster.
Yeah, he is. He can go.
He's like, I can tell you about the hood, but got a master's degree now, so.
He actually got like a good speech about Omi coming out next week about just the stuff that he had to go through and stuff that he gave at a campus, and it's an awesome speech.
Yeah, I remember him talking to me a little bit about it. He was like, "Man, I don't know if Duck didn't find me, I don't know what I'd be doing, or Coach B or whatever." So good for him. And I mean, and he gives back, right? Look, you were kind of going through college and got out, and you were kind of unsure in which direction you were going, and he was like, "Yo, I got you. Come on." And now you found your way, you found your purpose, and you're locked in. And I'm sure, who knows, you guys, I'm sure hopefully you'll be at LifeU forever, but as you two grow, I'm sure he'll take you with him. So
that's like anything he's ever said he's going to do for me, he's right there. It's done. Never had to question it or worry about anything he's ever, said he's going to do for me. And
yeah, so
good to be here and grateful for this program.
Yeah, he's a loyal dude. So I know that you guys have a big wrestling camp and clinic coming up here. He sent me information about it, asked me to share it through my page. I did that for him, and but I know that it's coming up, and you guys have really stuck to your guns with it. I see that you guys haven't wavered. You still keep posting. We're doing it. So tell us what you got going on. Tell us who it's offered to, what age groups, and
well, it's actually offered. It's offered to all age group, boys and girls. Like we were talking about Ashley earlier. She's got a couple of her wrestlers. She got a couple of her wrestlers that are going to come over and help us put on the camp and stuff like that. And then it's really going to be put on basically by the LifeU coaching staff and the LifeU wrestlers. And it's going to be great. It's a commuter camp, 2 days, $70. I mean, it's pretty. All of these kids in Georgia, like it's pretty. All the kids that are local too. We go to these other clubs and stuff around here, and should definitely come and check it out and stuff like that. You want to get noticed by a coach or come out and showcase your talents too. It's a great opportunity to do that because there's gonna be plenty of live wrestling. You're gonna be able to get your hands on coaches or LifeU wrestlers, and we're gonna be demonstrating a lot of technique, top, bottom, neutral. It's gonna be great.
For sure, and typically we do the show live, but we're not live today. A lot of Zoom things with school starting back, so it's good for me too because this is kind of practice. I'm sure that going forward, I'll have to adapt to doing stuff not live. It's a weird feeling because I'm used to I feel like I'm talking to somebody out there beyond us, right? But it works. Hey, you got to make adjustments, right? Just like wrestling, life, whatever. But what I normally do when I get it onto once I get it on to my page, I share it with all the wrestling groups. There's about 19 or 20 of them, and one of them is the Georgia wrestling group. So I'll make sure that it gets on there and it posts, and I'll tag you and stuff in it so that you can put your pamphlet and your forms and whatever you want to do to it. So we'll definitely get it out there when we get off, and that's awesome. So is it just going to be LifeU coaching staff? You guys have any special people coming in to help out? Any guys that might attract a few men or women? Other than you amazing people.
There's actually one coach we're working on. It's the legendary Coach Duck. And hopefully, so far, him and Coach O were talking yesterday, and this is as of Friday, a week before hopefully we're trying to get him up here so he can come and work with a lot of little guys, bring up his little guys and stuff like that too, so we can get, not just like high school and middle school wrestlers, we can get like little guys as well to come out to the camp too. And he's such a great little guy coach and stuff like that. What they got over there at the Gladiator Wrestling Club is incredible. And if we can get him, you might have to cut that part if we don't get him, but hopefully that's our plan. Other than that, it's going to be mainly LifeU coaching staff.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, who's Coach Duck? What has he done in wrestling, right? And obviously Gladiator is incredible, because look at what it's fed into that South Dade program. Um, I mean, Pat Lugo's not doing bad in life right now.
And so much for the community as a whole. It's awesome over there.
Yeah, so pretty cool stuff, man. So um, anyway, you found your way to one of the best wrestling programs in the country, and I think people kind of sleep on the NAIA, but up there in Iowa, what you're doing in Life U, I had Nick Soto on, I've had Britt on, I've had, I mean, a lot of. If I forgot you guys, I apologize. I've done 270 of these, but I've had a lot of really good NAIA programs on, coaches, and man, don't sleep on that conference, but as of right now, whether you like it or not, the best is in red, right? And you got to wrestle there, and I'm sure you and Omi have brought a lot of that influence into your room and starting to do what you do there. And what was it like to wrestle for that coach and that crew? And what has he meant to you and Omi as far as for life?
I guess Coach Mitchell, he's a great guy. Like I can call him or Reedy up right now and they're gonna answer the phone on like the first ring. Hey man, what's going on? Like just anything that they I can anytime I have like anything going on in my life or if I need any type of advice, like they're just that type of people that it goes past wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like they're great coaches and they know wrestling as well, and that's awesome. But it just goes deeper than that. Like they're guys that it's relationships for life that you'll make over there. And I think that's why he's had so much success, because that he does care about his wrestlers and stuff like that. But
and what has learning under him or wrestling for him meant for you and Omi to be able to build what he has started to build and now bringing you into Life U? And how much do you, as a coach, it's kind of like a parent, like you find yourself saying something to your kid and you're like, shit, my grandma used to tell me that. Damn it. I said I'd never be that way, right? But you guys ever find yourself like, guys, you got to do this? And you're like, shit, I remember him yelling in my ear for that.
Oh yeah, but like I was actually with so like you said, I learned from Coach Mitchell as a wrestler, and then I just went to the Leadership Academy a couple weeks ago, and he was actually my mentor there as well. So then I got to learn from him and ask, pick his brain about more on the coaching side and things like that, and that was just awesome and stuff like that. I got to really just get like, and a lot of it was like stuff he had already said when I was a wrestler, but some like a lot of it's just being thick-headed and like you think you know it all at 21, 22 years old, and you think you're the man, and unfortunately there's a couple of times he had to check me and stuff like that, and and then like it flashes back, like you said, when like you got to like tell your wrestler something, and it's like, man, like okay, but then at that same time, like then you can use those experiences when like that was one thing that I learned a lot at the Leadership Academy too, is like being able to take your experiences as a wrestler, the good and the bad, and then use those as storytelling with the guys and stuff like that. That way you can make that connection and click with them a little bit better.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, I've had a you on, Omi on, I've had Schwier, I've had Eric up at M2. I could keep going. It's amazing all you guys are doing in life and for wrestling, and look at all of you giving back to the sport. So that's really cool. I had young Gio Bonilla on that said, thank God he found it,
and like I same thing with me when when I was like, my transition from Campbellsville to Grandview wasn't just like, all right, now I don't want to wrestle here no more, I'm gonna go find a new school to wrestle. I was completely done. I had stopped wrestling for Campbellsville in like October-ish or September maybe, and like was just like going to school, being a regular dude, and like I was just trying to I was really planning on going back home and going back to Florida. I was trying to go to South Florida and go to school at FAU with my brother and all my friends back home. I was ready to be a little fun party frat boy type kid.
Yeah.
And then Coach TJ Moen, actually, he was the Campbellsville assistant coach, and he had left after my second year. So like my third year was my technical redshirt year there. And he has like, well, I'm not just going to let you throw your life away. And he gave my number to Coach Mitchell. And next thing you know, I'm scheduled on a visit out there. I didn't even know if I wanted to go on the visit. Like my dad had to really talk me into it and was like, no, like I'm buying you the ticket. You're going. Just go check it out. See what you think. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to wrestle anymore. Like I think I'm done. And then I get out there on a visit, and it just like you just fell back in love with the sport and stuff like that. And owe it all to them. They definitely, him and Reedy changed my life and, set me back on a course. Like, I don't know where I would be if I don't get that phone call and they don't.
And how about what you're able to tell kids now when you're recruiting them? Like, listen, because I've had a lot of your story on here, right? I've had a lot of guys that said, I went to the first college and it was very difficult, the transition from not having a parent figure around me, not having somebody telling me, hey, it's time to go to school. Hey, there's food on the table. Hey, you got to do your homework. Hey, it's time for wrestling practice. And you got to school and you're like, wow, freedom. And you just kind of opened up and you lost track of, shit, I still got to study, or I still got to go do the practice. I still got to put the work in. And you kind of, how many do we lose that the coach isn't able to grab and get a hold of and be like, hey, I got a guy, right? So how easy is it for you now when you're talking to not easy, but to have that heart to heart with these sophomores, juniors, seniors that are still in high school to say, hey, this is what it's going to be like. Just try to prepare your mind.
Well, I think just keeping that like authenticity and then that, transparency with your athlete is so important. Like they can tell when you're just blowing smoke, you know what I'm saying? And giving them lies, saying I never did that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, okay, so look, I made mistakes as well. You know what I'm saying? So like, let me tell you what I learned from these mistakes so you don't have to learn these lessons. And that's really like what we try to do. Me and Coach O, we try to do with all of our athletes is we tell them, listen, like, I did this and it turned out this way. Like if it keeps up with you, like I don't want you to have to learn that lesson as well. So like try and learn from me telling you what happened when I did it as well, rather than me just saying like I never did, and so they
You
can
have to tell me, I have a teenager downstairs. He's 14 years old. I try and say that to him. He's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. He knows more than me. So I'm like, all right, cool. But I've been blessed. He's got a great mother. He's got great grandparents. And he's doing okay. So, but yeah, he's still a teenager. So I got to sometimes get that experience. So I get it, man. So obviously, where are you without wrestling right now?
I don't know. I'm probably, it wouldn't be, not, I don't think I would be doing something that I like, and that's like, I feel so grateful just to be able to wake up every single day and come to work and do something that I love. Like most people go their entire lives without finding something that they're passionate about. I don't feel like I have a real job waking up, coming to work every day. Like I get to wrestle and watch wrestling film and talk to people about wrestling some more. And like, it's not I'm just so grateful to be in this position and stuff like that. And it's just something that I'm so passionate about. And like I said, a lot of people would go through life without finding what they'd be passionate about. And if I didn't have wrestling, it'd probably be the same way for me.
That's well said, man. So, on the education side, when as parents, obviously when you're recruiting the kids, you're recruiting the parents too. When you're sitting in the room, obviously the kid is like, I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle. That's the easy part, right? But the parents going, wait a second, he's going to college to get an education. Wrestling is great, but he's going to get an education. How are you going to make sure that my kid doesn't fall off the wagon in his classes, in his academics, with his grades?
At Life, the great thing is we have an academic advisor, and you have to, all incoming freshmen or anybody below, a certain GPA has to meet with this advisor weekly. And she logs on her computer right here, pulls up your grades and goes, what's happening with this class right now? Why you got to, you know what I'm saying? She is on you, making sure every single week you got to meet with her. So we're in there. And then we also have study hall, study hours and stuff like that. So and she's right across the office, so we can see who's going, who's coming. She gives us an attendance list, who didn't show up and things like that. And, so we are on people about grades.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, because I think, I can't remember which coach I had on, but it was one of the best quotes I've heard. He said, I try to tell kids that choose your college based on the next 40 years, not the next 4 years. And it was pretty, if you think about what he says in those words, it's pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And like you said, that's why we're all here. Not everybody, unfortunately, is going to be a national champion. So what are you going to do after? How are you going to contribute to society? And that's what Life U Wrestling is about. We're going to try and build men of character and help them contribute to society afterwards.
Yeah, and something that I've learned through talking to a lot of people in the conferences that are not Division One, you know, whether it's 2, 3, NAIA, whatever, right? NWCA. I'm learning them all, but no, NCWA. I always mess it up because I think it's NCAA, but it's NCWA. Kids say, well, I want to wrestle the best, and if I go to NAIA, that's not going to happen. And then I've learned that you guys wrestle in a number of open tournaments all through the season where
Oh yeah.
kids get to compete with D3, D2, D1 athletes. And it just so happens that every once in a while, one of your Life U students or NAIA students ends up being picked up and going up to the D1 level. But regardless of that, they get to see where they're at. They get to compete on these big levels, the same tournaments a lot of these other schools are at.
Oh yeah, all the time. We go into, anytime we go to like an open in Tennessee or an open in like Virginia or anything like that, you're gonna see Virginia Tech. You're gonna see Tennessee Chattanooga red shirts and stuff like that. Appalachian. You're gonna see all these type of guys in our little comp. Or anytime we go, when we went to the Grandview Open, you're seeing guys from Iowa, Iowa State, UNI, and stuff like that. And it doesn't you know what I'm saying? It's wrestling is wrestling. Shout out Enoch. He was a wrestler at in an NAIA school, and he was a multiple time All-American, all of that and stuff like that. But then he went on and made a world team Greco. And wrestling's wrestling. It doesn't matter what he did in college or anything like that. When he stepped onto those world team trials, you gotta, those 6 minutes, you gotta be ready to roll. And he made the world team. Now he went and coached at Cornell and stuff like that. And now he's head coach of the Villages in Florida.
Yeah, I had him on. What a great dude. And to let everyone know, he whooped Pat Downey's ass. I saw the video. I shared the video. There's proof out there.
That's what he said, in that interview. Wrestling's wrestling, man. No matter what, he's an NAIA guy. He made it, man. He went all the way to the top, and he's coaching. He was coaching D1 athletes. It doesn't matter. Wrestling's wrestling.
Yeah, and I had your boy Soto on again the other day. And it's so cool to see all these Florida guys and girls like Ashley and Baez up there, and but just all of you together. And he says it's really cool to have that aspect because he can give you a call and be like, yo, I got a kid. He's a good kid. I just can't fit him in. Can you guys look at him, talk to him? It's nice to have friends around the conference to be able to do that. And then because it is about the kids. And then he goes, look, we got a Florida guy at Campbell, which is right down the street from all of us. And Scotty's willing to do duels with us to help get these kids better. And that's a big D1 program, right? You've got.
Oh, yeah. Scotty's a man. He's awesome. I got to hang out with him a few times at some camps and stuff like that. He's so much fun. He's just a good time.
Yeah. So you're going to get to see, you're going to get to compete. And listen, we look at NBA players. Some of the best came out of smaller schools. We look at NFL players. I mean, Jerry Rice came from a small school. Some of the best Hall of Fame players in any sport, they came from smaller schools. So you don't necessarily have to be at that 1% to be there. Now, keep the dream alive. Nobody's saying don't dream big. Every kid dream big, dream to be there. But
for sure, but you just got to figure out what program fits you best.
Yeah, but know your options, and you've got some really good programs out there with really good coaches and coaches that have coached at the highest level. So it's awesome. But all right, let's see. What do I got here for you? All right, I got my 10 questions. My 10 questions are brought to you by Life U University today. Oh, it's funny. I like to do that. They're an NAI program in Alpharetta, Georgia. No. Marietta, Georgia. Something-etta, Georgia. Best chicken wings I ever had were in Blue Ridge. I wish I remembered the name of the place. It was right downtown. They fried them, then grilled them, then fried them. Woo-hoo! And then put them in the oven.
Man.
Yeah, baby. I eat about 100 of those right now. I need to help out my moves.
Georgia got some good barbecue here.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's send it.
Drums or flats?
Drums, for sure.
Camps or clubs?
I like camps just because I get to travel more, for sure.
All right. Savannah or Blue Ridge?
Blue Ridge,
I'm with you. You got one day to train. Live go or clinic?
live go.
Georgia coast or Florida coast?
Oh, Florida. No, there's no beating that.
Yeah, because you're on the Gulf side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Disney duels. You were a two-time All-American there, or the national duels?
National duels. It's just national duels is something else, man. Like that was my favorite tournament in college. You just get it's all you and your boys versus all that school and their boys and stuff like that. Like there's no better. That's the best team tournament by far.
Nice. All right. Georgia peaches or Florida oranges?
Florida Oranges.
Off-season freestyle or Greco?
Dude, I didn't like getting tossed on my head, and like I wasn't as good at Greco, so I like freestyle more.
All right. This is going to be very difficult for you. The Iowa chop or the Georgia barbecue?
Dude, I gotta go with the barbecue. I'm a barbecue guy. I love grilling and stuff like that.
Yeah. What about that Iowa tenderloin sandwich?
You talking about the one at Jethro's, huh?
Or Bebop's?
Bebop's is the real deal, man. That's
I
they got like $1.50 burgers on the weekends, man. It's like a quarter pound. You can't beat it. It's like $3. I got a whole meal. It's for real.
I hear from Valles that it's got killer milkshakes.
Nah, I wasn't allowed to drink no milkshakes in college. I don't know nothing.
Well, when you're the coach, you get away with more stuff now.
Yeah.
All right, on the mat, Cole or Omi?
Next question.
You don't want to call him out? Well, that's my last question.
Oh man, this is something we could probably cut this part, but let's talk about another Georgia. My high school coach was Coach Metters, and he's at Camden County High School now. He was the original coach at 5A, and now he's the Camden County head assistant or head associate or whatever. And they've won the last, I think 6 state titles now. They won the last 6 state titles in Georgia. And
we don't need to cut this. We can keep talking.
all right. I was just saying you could like ask questions or whatever. But he, Coach Metters was actually the coach of me at 5A when he was there. Like he had just started the program because he was the head coach at the University of the Cumberlands, left and came back home to Florida because he went to Countryside High School and then became the head coach. And my high school was brand new. He opened the program, everything. I had never stepped on a mat before. I thought I was a football player, whatever, a little 5-foot dude, 95 pounds, thinking I could play football with these monsters and seniors in high school or whatever. And he was like, dude, like, let's get you a weight class and let's get you on this wrestling mat. And, like you said, I don't know where I'd be without him getting me on that mat that day. And, he's just been the man ever since. Anytime I need anything, I call him. I go to his house all the time because now, he's right down the road in Camden County, Georgia and stuff like that. And unfortunately, he wasn't there the year. He didn't get to see me place at state, but he had to leave after. But ever since, anytime I need anything, like he's just been the man. And
that's awesome.
And also I got, shout out Coach Bullwinkle too. Them two were like the duo. And like that was when I learned like you kind of need like that coaching duo was the thing, was when I was first in high school, was him and Bullwinkle. Bullwinkle was a Florida State champ, wrestled at the Citadel, D1, all of that. And him and Metters just like, you know what I'm saying? There was no egos, there was no nothing. They were just two of the best like wrestling coaches I've ever had. And like I don't know where I would be without either one of them.
Awesome. I'm glad that you said that because people need to hear it.
No, for sure. And it's like kind of goes under the, 5A kind of goes by the wayside because like Metters went there and then now he's at Camden or whatever. But yeah, it's called 5A, but it's spelled Fivay. It was kind of weird. Everybody, it was like I guess the old name of the town that I used to live in before it changed. And I don't know, man. It's like we go there and everybody's like, no, I'm not asking you what classification you're in. I'm asking you what's your name of your school. And I'm like, I know, like it's still 5A. Like,
It's still 5A. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Come visit.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and obviously we've seen the growth of Florida wrestling, and then where you are in Georgia, huge growth I've learned over these last 5 months.
And ever since he left that, he got the administration support that he needed and stuff like that over at Camden and the funding and stuff like that. And I mean, ever since he got there, they won the last like 6 state championships and stuff like that. Now we have a good Georgia pipeline coming from Camden over to Life and stuff like that. We go over to the Southern Hospitality Wrestling Camp that they have. And I just like going over to, Southern Georgia and hanging out with my old coach and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, why don't you send them my link? Let's have them on.
Yeah, I'll get them some links so you can come on. He's an entertaining guy. You'd like him.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him. And man, I was really honored to talk to you, man. Again, we're not live, but we're still having fun. And this was great. We'll get it posted. But man, keep kicking life's ass. You and Omi up there. Life's ass, life you, but I didn't do that purposely. It just worked out that way. And man, it's awesome to see what you guys are doing. Of course, Florida kids doing it big. And man, God bless you guys. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll just keep talking to people.
Awesome, man. Yeah, anytime you want me back on, man, just let me know. I'm down during the season, whatever. This was awesome. I had a great time.
For sure. Thank you, man. You take it easy.
All right, bro.